Alright, so what is going on YouTube? This is kind of a bit of a more impromptu video. I just thought, like, what if I recorded while I was on my break, just so I have some content for YouTube, while I'm not like actively uploading like I will be next week. Hopefully that my time will be free. But I'm gonna really quickly go through what my leg day is, actually, because I feel like I've been able to make a lot more growth and progress on them recently. And every time I train them hard, I'm always sore the next day. But then I always like come back with even bigger legs the next week, and they definitely feel stronger. So I'm just gonna go over what exercises I do for that, and then that'll just be the video. But let's get right into it. So I like to divide, like, if I do a full complete leg day, there's certain things I'll do in the beginning. So I'll almost always stretch. I will actually always stretch, do some dynamic warm-ups, just because if you're doing static, it's more of like holding the stretch, but your muscle isn't really pumped in the moment, so it doesn't need that kind of a deep stretch. I'm not saying it's bad or that you shouldn't, but I prefer to do dynamic warm-ups because then I actually get more blood flow to my muscles since I'm actively moving. But I will always do, some dynamic warm-ups, but then I will go right into hip abductors. Yes, I'll do my hip abductors, and the reason why I do that is because your legs, like, if you don't train your hip abductors, it really does make it look like you have like pencil legs, because there's supposed to be a muscle that kind of like is what is responsible for like chafing, I guess you could put it. There's muscle in between your legs, like on the inner part of your legs, and those are called your abductors. And especially in stuff like squats and stuff like that, you need to have really strong abductors to actually be able to support you when you're, at the bottom of the exercise about to squat up, because just having strong quads isn't enough. And like, I noticed that it's been a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to squat now because I've been training my abductors. I've been training the inside of my legs, and it's just muscle that wasn't there that's now there, being able to support me in all of my lifts. So I'll always warm up, like this, where you like close your legs. Perfect. From there, I like to go into a pressing movement. Now, most pressing movements I do for my quads will be like a leg press, squat, hack squat, whatever's available. But I think you could just pick between one of those. I'll try and alternate between like each leg day. So the last one I did barbell squatting, but then the leg day before that I did hack squat. Everything is good, everything is effective. So I just did some barbell squats, which are just great for your quads, your abductors, your hamstrings, everything. It's a great compound movement, but it's especially good for your quads as well. Especially if you're squatting in a bit closer of a stance, it's going to be better for targeting more quad growth. But I'll do a set, and it depends. Some days I like to go heavy, like to go 275, 300, etc. Some days I like to just stay at 225 or maybe even 135 just for a good 12 reps. I do this more to get like a pump / blood flow in my legs, instead of like, something where next I'll do leg extensions. Those I will genuinely try to go extra heavy, go till failure. And that's really what's responsible for like the slices in your quads, is like those leg extensions. That's essential to have in your leg day. I like to put it after my pressing movement because then my quads are already warm, and so the rest of the legs. But you can do it in whatever order you'd like. Now, that's all I do for quads: one pressing movement and one extension movement. But next I'll move into what I do for my hamstrings. Now, hamstrings, there's two ways you have to train it. You have to get the stretch, so you have to get the RDLs. It can be dumbbells, it could be barbell, it could be whatever you want. RDLs are just super, super important for building your hamstrings. And then, of course, any curling movement could be single leg, it could be laying, it could be seated, any curling movement, because you want to be able to get that squeeze, when you're doing your 3x12 or 4x8. And then with the RDLs, I typically like to go lighter because it's more of like a stretch movement. So I'm not really worried about, putting too heavy weight. I'm more worried about actually getting the stretch in my leg, because muscle stimulation is what's responsible for muscle growth. So it does not mean that you have to lift insanely heavy to grow your muscle. You just need to put weight that will be stimulating enough. But I'll do 2 hamstring variations. some type of curl and then some type of stretch. And then from there, I'll just move on to my calves. Now, calves is really simple. Like if you have a seated calf machine, you could do that. If you have a standing, you could do that. If you don't have any of that, you could do it with weight on your back. You know, there's a lot of different options, but the calf raise, like it's only really one movement, right? It's only really that like tiptoe movement and getting that calf flexion. So it doesn't really matter how you do it, but of course you do want to get that stimulus. So you do want to, you know, actually like have your sets be like decent. You know, a lot of people like train calves lightly, but then that'll keep them small. Like you need to stimulate them. You need to do weight that's going to make you feel that burn, make you feel that pump. But that is essentially everything I do for my leg day. And like I said, I don't really do 3x12s or like 4x8s. Like I don't train just for a pump. I train to get stronger as well. But of course, how do I dictate, you know, whether that movement was the right movement for me or not will be the pump. So like, especially if I do some squatting, then I go right into leg extensions, my quads will be looking huge. And I know, like, you know, maybe my first set will be light, then the next 2 sets will be heavier, or my first set will be low rep and then the last 2 will be high rep. Doesn't matter what it is, it just has to be stimulating enough for your muscles to actually grow them. But that is everything I do in my leg day. I'm hoping that this was like a shorter style, kind of more informational, more quick video. But let me know if you guys want me to cover any other of my workout days. Of course, everything is on the program as well that I'm selling. And I do also offer one-on-one online coaching where I'll create a workout plan for you, a diet plan, and then I'll help you really get to your aesthetic physique goals, whether you want to lose weight or put on weight. I know how to do it all. But again, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I'm trying to get more content out there for you guys. I'm pushing for, I don't know, I might have something tomorrow for you guys. So keep your hopes high, but not too high. You know, don't set any expectations for me. Nah, I'm playing. But I'll see you guys in the next one.